Hi, I'm Alexander Ward. For my Student Innovation project, I utilized Python to create a graphical user interface that interacts between third-party tools and Windows command line to facilitate security auditing. At this moment, the prototype has only been used to audit SMB vulnerabilities. In the future, I would like to develop it to cover a multitude of vulnerabilities that are often discovered during security audits. This demonstration consists of a Windows 7 VM which is currently displayed. It will act as a device in which the auditor has physical access. Additionally, it will also include a Windows 2003 server shown here. It will have the Allow Anonymous SMB Connections flags enabled. I've separated my tool into two main modules, local machine and network. The local machine provides ways to do basic machine enumeration. The machine enumeration allows me to get network settings. It's going to be IP config information. We have wireless settings, which is going to get you your wireless information, pretty much the stuff that you have stored in your wireless profile information. We have the signal strength, which is going to be indicative of the distance between you and your access point or anything in between, and this is a good way to identify rogue access points. Here we have it shows established connections. It's going to be your netstat. Interactive version, which is going to be TCP view by sysinternals. Next, we can see the open ports. This is going to show you the ports that are currently open, or maybe the services that you're offering out to the network. Here we have shared folders. You can be the drives that I'm actually sharing out to the network. Current drives, these are drives that I have connected to either logically or through the network. Here we have the accounts. These are going to be the accounts that I have on the local machine only. Here we can see that these are my four. These are going to be the pretty much three default, and this is one I made at 1000 under the SID, and I don't need a password to log in. Computer information, this is going to be the software and hardware that is associated with the device that the auditor is on. Auto run information, that's going to launch sysinternals auto runs. It's going to pretty much show you anything that's going to start on startup, which is very important when doing security audits. We have stored browser data that's going to pull up anything that's the history in which the user did. We have saved passwords. It's going to pull anything under the browser that's been saved. And searches. This can show the Google searches. Under the network module, we have scanning. This launches a GUI for Foundstone's scanline tool, which is equivalent to Nmap. I'm going to go ahead and start the scan and come back to you when it's finished. As we can see, we have a lot of results, and it's going to pop out here in the interface. We can scroll down and see all the different results. It's going to show us the open ports, the TCP and UDP. Additionally, we could have done a banner grab to see what type of fingerprinting we can do on the current services that are being offered. Next up, we have the Windows enumeration submodule. Under here, I can go ahead and list all the current domains that this device can see. After that, I can look at the devices of each domain, and lastly, the device table. I have a nice little NetBIOS legend here that will go ahead and tell me what I'm looking at. I'm going to go ahead and go after our 2K3 server, and basically this is what we can see. We have the NetBIOS information, and it's a basic workstation. It is a domain controller, which is very important. This is where we want to go. Under here we have the summary, and this is going to give us just basic information. We have the IP, the domain, and host name. It is offering any file shares, and as well as the domain controller. Additionally, we have network shares, which shows us all the network shares that we can see on the network. We can also go ahead and map a drive if we preferred. Under here we can see what accounts that the 2K3 server is offering or has. This is important because this is where the SMB allow anonymous connections comes into play. If you have that disallowed, you're not going to be able to provide the usernames like this will. And as you can see, we have all the usernames for the target. Now this is very bad because now we can do brute force SMBs attack. So we're going to go ahead and launch this tool called Brooder, and we're going to go ahead and try to attack our target. Before we do our brute force, we want to make sure that the password policy allows us to do this without locking out the accounts. So if we launch the password policies, we can actually see that the password policy indicates that there is no lockout. So we can try as many times and conduct this brute force. Under SMB brute force, we're going to use the tool called Brooder, and we're going to use the username administrator that we got from these accounts over here. Right here, we're going to do a dictionary attack where we're going to go throw this word list against that username, and it's going to, hold on. We're going to go and use this word list. We're going to go ahead and start the attack, and we'll let this go. And what do you know? It's at the top of the word list-ish, and now we have the password to connect our next part of the attack. Now let's say for instance we couldn't find that. Well, we can go ahead and launch this tool right here and we can search for any file names or contents of file names on any shared file. With the credentials that we got from the previous module, we can go ahead and install Backdoor. So we're going to go ahead and choose Windows XP and below because it's Windows 2003, and it's going to go ahead and install. And now that it's installed, we can try to connect to it. Connect and provide the password for the backdoor, and it's provided on the information, password 2. And what do you know? We have a backdoor onto the system. For the last module, we have pillage. I'm going to go ahead and grab the domain, the device, and we have the username and password. I'm going to go ahead and look at Google or browser passwords. This is going to be the same information that we obtained in the local machine, except it's going to be for the remote machine that we grabbed credentials for. So as we can see, we have his email as well as his Facebook. We can go ahead and look at Google search to see what they're searching on, and lastly, we can go ahead and look at browsers.